Good morning, people of Holden and Dala. As we celebrate this Sunday, a very warm summer Sunday, it helps us think about our reading that we have this morning that comes to us from the book of Exodus as the Israelites wander in the desert. This is Exodus 16. The whole congregation of the Israelites set out from Elim, and Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. The whole congregation of the Israelites complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots of Egypt and ate our fill of bread, for you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." Then the Lord said to Moses, "I am going to rain bread from heaven for you, and each day the people shall go out and gather enough for that day. In that way I will test them, whether they will follow my instruction or not. On the sixth day, when they prepare what they bring in, it will be twice as much as they gather on the other days." So Moses and Aaron said to all the Israelites, "In the evening you shall know that it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your complaining against the Lord. For what are we that you complain against us?" And Moses said, "When the Lord gives you meat to eat in the evening, and your fill of bread in the morning, because the Lord has heard the complaining that you utter against him, what are we? Your complaining is not against us, but against the Lord." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the whole congregation of the Israelites, 'Draw near to the Lord, for he has heard your complaining.'" And as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the Israelites, they looked toward the wilderness, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, "I have heard the complaining of the Israelites. Say to them, at twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall have your fill of bread. Then you shall know that I am the Lord your God." In the evening, quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the layer of dew lifted, there on the surface of the wilderness was a fine, flaky substance, as fine as frost on the ground. When the Israelites saw it, they said to one another, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, "It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather as much of it as you need, an omer to a person according to the number of persons, providing for all those in their own tents." The Israelites did so, some gathering more, some less. But when they measured it with an omer, those who gathered much had nothing left over, and those who gathered little had no shortage. They each gathered as much as any of them needed. And now we're jumping to the end of the chapter. The house of Israel called it manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Let an omer of it be kept throughout your generations, in order that they may see the food with which I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you out of the land of Egypt." The word of the Lord. This summer, we're focusing on road trips of the Bible. Last week, we heard about Abraham and Sarah being called to leave their homeland and journey to an unknown land that God would show them so that they could be a blessing to the entire world. Today, we're going to consider the road trip that the Israelites make in their exodus from Egypt to the Promised Land. Any one of us who's gone on a road trip with a big group of people, or even a small group of people, begins to hear comments at some point in the journey that sound like this: "Are we there yet? How much longer do we have to be in the car? Can we stop for something to eat? When is the next rest stop?" Even with the excitement of a journey and the longing to be at our new destination, sometimes the journey itself can wear on us and our companions. We get antsy and snarky and ready for the next part of the trip. We get hungry or bored or tired of the monotony of being in the car. We might start getting annoyed with our companion's choice of music or if they looked at us the wrong way. Or we wish they would take just a little bit of a break, a 5-minute break from their constant chatter. Are we there yet? We all begin to wonder, even if we don't say it out loud. Today, in our reading from the book of Exodus, we hear about the Israelites on the longest journey that they have ever taken as a people. It's a journey of 40 years from when they were freed from slavery in Egypt into the promised land. The people of Israel spent 40 long years in the desert, journeying from that exciting, exhilarating moment when they realized they were free, that powerful moment where they knew they had their freedom, and now they're wandering in the desert. The promised land is still far ahead of them. They can't see it, they can't touch it yet. They journey through hot, sandy, empty deserts, and that journey is beginning to wear on them as individuals and as a people. They're growing tired of having no steady place to call home. They're growing tired of not having any good food to eat. And even they wish that they had stayed in Egypt, where nostalgically they think the food was so much better. They are growing tired of the sunburns that they have and the sand in their sandals. They're growing tired of Moses and Aaron, and probably why are beginning to wonder why they didn't have better directions to the promised land to get there more quickly. We've been there. You and I and so many other people we know have been where the Israelites are. We've been the ones in the back of the car wondering, are we there yet? How much longer till we get there? Are we lost, or do you really know how to get where we're going? We've asked those questions of our human companions. We've also asked those questions of God. We have been the ones tired out sometimes by our daily life journeys, by our faith journeys. And we've been tired out by those journeys we're on, and we begin to wonder things like, when will it get easier? When will we be able to stop for just a little bit and rest? We've been the ones struggling with a decision and wondering how much longer till I know the answer? How much longer till I know the destination I'm headed for? We've been the ones praying to God for a solution in our lives, in some part of our lives that is a challenge for us. And we hear ourselves asking questions like, how long, O Lord? But imagine 40 years in a desert, 40 years of traveling and journeying with a large group of people, and still not quite being in the land that you will call home. 40 years of heat, 40 years of wandering, 40 years of wondering where your food is going to come from, 40 years of questioning if Moses and Aaron really do know where they're going. No wonder the Israelites begin to get tired and worn out. No wonder the Israelites begin to complain against Moses and Aaron and God too. Yet here's the point of today's story. Even though the Israelites are growing very tired of their long journey, even though they're complaining to God and Moses, even though they're a bit whiny, God is with them. Even more importantly, even in their complaining, God continues to provide for them. We hear in this reading today that God hears the complaints, He hears the voices of His people, and He doesn't turn His back on them. He provides for them. He sends them manna and He sends them quail and He feeds them each and every day. He provides for their thirst in other stories in Exodus by giving them water from a rock right in the middle of the desert. In other parts of Exodus, we hear how God's presence is with the Israelites to guide them and protect them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire at night. God is with them in the guidance He gives them in the Ten Commandments, for how to live together each and every day. God is with them in the leadership of Moses and Aaron and Miriam, all along their way, from the moment that they leave Egypt and are given their freedom, all the way through that 40-year-long journey through the hot, sandy desert. Even when they reach the promised land, God is with them. God is with his people, providing for them, caring for them, guiding them. And here's the pointed reminder in this story for you and for me and all people on a journey of faith. Even when our journey seems long, even when our journey seems tedious, even when we begin to complain and grumble because we are tired and we are crabby, even when we wonder to God, are we there yet? Could we please be there yet? God is with us. God is with us as individuals, and God is with us as communities in our congregations. We are not alone on our journey. God is with us, protecting us, guiding us, feeding us, loving us beyond measure. Amen.